In an age of instant access, where music, films, and entire collections live almost entirely inside our phones, something unexpected is happening. Young people are turning back to physical media. Objects that were once considered obsolete are now stacked on bedroom shelves, displayed on Instagram, and hunted down. The revival isn't just about nostalgia. For many young people, it's about ownership, identity, and slowing down in a digital world that never stops. But as physical media makes a comeback, a new question emerges. Are we reconnecting with culture, or just finding new things to overconsume?
Over the last decade, vinyl sales have surged. CDs are quietly creeping back into popularity, and DVDs remain a staple for collectors who don't trust streaming platforms to keep their favourite films available forever. For younger generations, many of whom grew up entirely in the streaming era, physical media offers something different. It's tactile and offers something that is both intentional and permanent. Physical music sales in the UK grew by about 11.5% in 2025, with vinyl up by 18.5%, and even smaller formats like cassettes rising sharply.
Vinyl records dominated music listening throughout most of the 20th century until the 1980s when CDs arrived, promising clearer sound, portability, and durability. By the 1990s, CDs had largely overtaken vinyl, becoming the default format for music. To understand why this revival feels so significant, it helps to look back. Tim Harper, owner of the Henge in Camberwell, has watched this shift happen in real time. For him, the renewed interest in records isn't about trends, it's about people wanting a deeper connection with what they consume.
You can never have too many records. Because I come from a generation where you bought records to hear the music, you know. We hold a huge number of events, we have live music, and we get a real mixed crowd coming in from youngsters through to older folks. We had a party on last Wednesday, some students from Central St Martin's, and that brought a whole bunch of people down. I think obviously there's a generation of younger people that have come through not having any physical formats in their lives, you know, from whether it's records, whether it's CDs, obviously everything's been digital now for probably close to 20 years, right? People have always held physical media in high regard. Obviously, you guys can see it looking around the shop. Records are beautiful things. We do second-hand records in here and we do new records. If you're buying new records these days, they are expensive, you know. They're almost like a luxury item, particularly when you can listen to most of the music that's on them for free or nearly as good as free with a subscription.
For a while, it seemed like CDs, DVDs, and records would disappear entirely. Then came digital media. MP3s, streaming services, and cloud storage made physical formats feel unnecessary. A similar shift happened in film. VHS tape ruled home video throughout the 80s and 90s until DVDs replaced them.
Second-hand retailers have played a major role in keeping physical media alive, especially for young people who can't afford brand new vinyl or box sets. Stores like CEX offer something streaming can't: ownership that still has resale value. CEX can be found on almost all high streets across the UK, with a variety of international, niche, and mainstream DVDs for everyone to choose from.
It's clear to see now that they didn't disappear at all. For many young people, physical media isn't just about being watched or listened, it's about curating a sort of identity. Social media has amplified this. Hauls, collection tours, and limited edition drops can turn collecting into pressure, encouraging people to buy more than they can realistically engage with. Shelves become aesthetic statements, collections become proof of taste, knowledge, and belonging.
Danny reflects on what it feels like to collect CDs as a young person.
I didn't have the money to collect vinyls. It was like when I was 17 or 16, so I just started collecting CDs from charity shops. And I got a really cheap CD player off Vinted. Like, no one wants to have like a collection that only has like 3 things. Like, you want to have like a big collection, I guess, to show that you're like serious, I guess. But it does come with that thing that it's like always having like more of something is always seen as status, like, you know. To be fair, I think I've noticed it more in the last year. Even though it's also not, because it's like how many of your CDs do you actually listen to at the end of the day. And it's, yeah, you can have a big collection, but how many of those are actually being used? You know what I mean? I think people, and I did it as well when I was younger. I think the way that I started doing it, I'd go into charity shops and then I'd just buy whatever interested me.
On one hand, it represents resistance, a pushback against disposable digital culture. The revival of physical media is complex. CDs, DVDs, and records may feel slower and more meaningful, but they're still products in a world that consistently encourages us to want more. Maybe the future of physical media isn't about how much we collect, but how intentionally we choose what earns a place on the shelf.